Hi, how you doing, and welcome back to another video on the channel. What I've got for you today is the preview video going into Game Week 35, and with the deadline being tonight and Game Week 34 only finishing last night, there's not a lot of time to turn around your teams. I'm going to start with a review of how my team did in 34, and then I'm going to talk team selection, transfer advice, and captaincy options moving forward. I do have some big moves to make with my own team as well, so if it does help you out with your own thoughts, please do subscribe, like the video. Honestly, it is really appreciated and does make the difference to the channel. I am super grateful for all the support so far, so thank you so much for that. Let's take a look at how my team did in Game Week 34, and with it being a blank game week, so many FPL managers were taking a free hit. I couldn't do that because I still had my assistant manager chip active, so it was still a really good game week with that in mind. Jose Sa was an absolute hero, 12 points. That penalty save, I celebrated like I supported Wolves, because not only did it give Jose Sa some points, it also kept Semedo's clean sheet as well. And I know a lot of FPL managers had Wolves defenders in the squad, but it was just a big swing of points for me in my own team as well, especially because the rest of the defence didn't really do anything. In midfield, I had Murphy and Matoma both return, but that was both on Saturday. So Saturday had Newcastle, Brighton and Wolves getting me loads of points, and it was looking like a really good game week. However, Thursday night, last night, I had Mbumo, Elanga and Murillo thinking I kind of just want my game week to last as long as possible and enjoy the final game of the week. They all blanked, and whilst it's 5 points more than I had on Wednesday, an attacking return really would have made all the difference to my overall rank from one of them. It's also kind of, I got Mbumo in, but now everybody else is going to get Mbumo in. So it was the one option I could have got a bit of an advantage, a sort of half differential on Mbumo before everybody else gets him in this game week in their own teams. I captained Salah for 16 points. He was the highest scoring player of the week, apart from Jose Sa, but I was never going to captain Jose Sa. So Salah was the right player. I wish he'd got a little bit more attacking returns from his game against Spurs, with Liverpool scoring 5, especially because captaincy was reasonably spread out last week. So for me, it wasn't too bad, but it could have been a whole lot more from the midfield. Now up front, Isak also got a goal, which is great. I will always take that. Now Mateta obviously blanked, didn't have a game, and it's a little bit frustrating because I'd kept it flexible. I did have another free transfer I could have used, but I wanted the flexibility going into Game Week 36 and 37 because there could have been a double in 36, which would have meant I would have used my free transfers on loading up on double Game Week players and then playing my free hit in Game Week 37, where other managers wouldn't have had their free hit, and I could have really got some advantage. So that was plan A. Obviously, those double and blanks aren't happening anymore, which is fine. I put plan B into action, which is to be more aggressive with my transfers now and use my free hit in Game Week 38 for all the usual chaos that happens in the final game week of the season. In terms of assistant manager, I did have Arne Slot. It was between him, Pereira from Wolves, and Eddie Howe. And Pereira and Howe both got 3-0 wins for 11 points on Saturday. And at that time, I'm thinking I should have just gone for one of them. I would have taken 11 points from my assistant manager. I don't think Arne Slot's going to get 11 points. And even with Spurs cancelling out the Liverpool clean sheet, every goal that Liverpool scored meant Slot got another point, and he ended up with 11 himself. So all's well that ends well, and it actually means I've got 51 points from my assistant manager chip, which is massive, really. And I'm super glad that I waited, because I actually enjoyed using the assistant manager chip. I didn't use it on Howe or Slot when it first came out and kind of rushed it in. I wanted to, learn a bit from it, watch other people, and then, consider the different moves to make from there. And it did pay off as well. So that would be my advice on what I'm going to do with that chip next season, if they still have it, is just take my time with it, because there's so many different points in the season you can use it on in order to maximise your points. Could have gone for Thomas Frank last night. He would have been my differential table bonus option, but I was at the stage where I just wanted points for my team and I didn't want to worry about a potential risk of defeat. So overall 70 points, a green arrow of a whopping 5k. It's essentially a grey arrow. If I had a red arrow of 5k, I wouldn't be too fussed about it. So I'm not going to over celebrate if I get a green arrow of 5k either. But it keeps me inside the top 500k overall, which is a nice place to be with a free hit and a bench boost still to go. So in terms of captaincy for this game week, it is pretty wide open. One place that I won't be captaining a player is Man City at home to Wolves. You know, Wolves just won 6 in a row. And I also don't want to captain someone on a Friday night, because if it doesn't work out, that's kind of your whole FPL weekend sort of a bit disappointing, because you're waiting on everyone else's captaincy, which probably won't come until Sunday's games. And I'd rather just enjoy the weekend's football with my captain still to play and still have that hope that I could do well, rather than have that hope dashed on a Friday night before the weekend's even really started. So for me, I'll probably be captaining Mbumo at home to Man United. There is a short turnaround in terms of Brentford playing on Thursday night and Sunday, but it's the same turnaround for Man United as well, and Man United are still going to rotate. So I think Mbumo will still play. He's a good captaincy option. Salah away at Chelsea as well. He's chasing some personal scoring records and he will be playing. I really don't think Salah will be rotated. Arne Slot said previously when Feyenoord won the league and he was managing Feyenoord that, you know, the personal records of the players still matter, and he did keep his squad quite strong for the rest of that season in the Dutch league. So I would expect him to do the same here. I think if you're a bit in and ahhing, unsure of who to captain, I would captain a midfielder in these instances, because they do get an extra clean sheet point and an extra point for every goal they scored. So that puts Mbumo and Salah just ahead of players like Isak and Marmoush for me. So in terms of my team for this game week, it's all right. It's not the best team in the world. It's not the worst team in the world. I do have 2 free transfers. And as we say, since we're kicking Plan B into action, I'm going to use them both this game week and be quite aggressive with the moves. So I do have 3.9 million in the bank. I've got that 1.5 mil back from Arne Slot, and that's a lot of cash to be spending, so I can make upgrades. Now the potential outs are either Elanga or Mitoma. Now they both have pluses and they both have minuses. The pluses for Elanga is that Nottingham Forest fixtures look pretty good. Leicester and West Ham at home, in those game weeks, I'm going to be bench boosting in one of those weeks. So having players that have nice fixtures is pretty paramount. You know, these players that you wouldn't want to bench in a normal game week. He's also just played 90 minutes against Brentford, which is really reassuring, because he has been coming off a bit of an injury and been on the bench more often than not recently. So that's a good sign as well. Mitoma, on the other hand, whilst he's been getting attacking returns, he's only played like 25 minutes in each of the last 2 games, scored in both, but he's not going to keep averaging a goal every 25 minutes. The fixtures also don't look good. Now, because I'm free hitting in 38, the fact that Mitoma plays Tottenham, it doesn't really matter. I could always get him back in for 38. So I'm looking at these next 3 game weeks as a little mini season. And Newcastle and Liverpool aren't good fixtures. And Wolves away, we've just said they've won 6 in a row. That's not a good fixture either. So it likely is going to be Mitoma out, especially because I save an extra million by transferring him instead. And Bowen in. So Bowen plays Spurs, Man United, Forest and Ipswich in the next 4. Now, yeah, that Ipswich fixture, you might say, doesn't really matter if I'm free hitting, but I still like the Spurs Man United games around the Europa League fixtures. We know that both of those are going to rotate, and whilst West Ham I'm not a massive fan of at the moment, Bowen has still been playing really well in a poor West Ham team. So if they do get it together and start performing, he will surely benefit as a result. So the first transfer is likely to be Mitoma out and Bowen in. The second transfer is probably going to be Mateta out, and I'm sad about it because Mateta has been such a hero for me this week, not just this week, sorry, this season. And especially when during game weeks where he was really low owned, I got the differential points as well. So I am still planning on getting a Mateta statue outside my house, but the fixtures just aren't good. Forest and Wolves are difficult fixtures. And again, Mateta, he's either starting and coming off early or he's on the bench. Palace also have the FA Cup final to contend with, so there's also possible rotation there. And like I said before, if I'm bench boosting, I just want my players on the pitch at least for 8 points from my bench boost. So Mateta will probably come out and Watkins will come in, because now that Rashford is out injured, Watkins is someone whose minutes will shoot up. He probably is guaranteed 90 every game, and the fixtures look pretty good as well. Villa just have the league to focus on, so they will be going all in to get top 5, and they do have a chance. So whilst they have a chance, I think a Villa player is a good shout. Watkins is a good option. He gives me that minute security and he has better fixtures. So yeah, it's a shame to be selling Mateta at this stage of the season, but you need to make the difficult moves at crucial times, and I want to be more aggressive with my transfers. So this is one that I'm going to make. So it'll be Matoma and Mateta out, Bowen and Watkins in. But let me know what you think. If there's anyone that I'm missing or anyone else that you think I should be transferring out of my squad. So, and also let me know if there's any decisions you want to make with your own transfers as well, if you see this video before the deadline. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. Please do subscribe. Hopefully you've had a good game week. You're looking forward to game week 35, and I will see you in the next one.